You're watching TAG TV. You're watching TAG TV.
Hello viewers, I'm your host Uzma Jafri with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show with India, which has gathered a massive international support for its stand on Kashmir and abrogation of Article 370. This week, while Russia, Bhutan and Nepal called it an internal issue of India, the French president rendered a massive blow to Pakistan, which has been trying to internationalize the issue. Calling Kashmir a bilateral issue, Emmanuel Macron urged no third country to interfere in the issue. A report.
Emmanuel Macron is the latest prominent leader who has backed Indian stand on Kashmir, a political hotspot over which Pakistan has been desperately trying to earn international sympathy and brownie points. He has termed it a bilateral issue and has appealed third party to not intervene in the matter that is bound by the bilateral treaties and commitments. The president, who met Indian Prime Minister Modi in the line of further enhancing the ties between India and France, also underlined the attempts being made by different parties to incite violence in the region.
Le Premier ministre m'a décrit la situation qui prévaut après la décision de l'Inde d'abolir le statut spécial de l'État de Jammu et le Cachemire. Et j'ai pour ma part rappelé qu'il appartenait à l'Inde et au Pakistan de résoudre leurs différends dans le cadre bilatéral, qu'il est de la responsabilité des deux parties d'éviter toute dégradation sur le terrain de nature à conduire à une escalade, de même que tous les efforts doivent être faits pour mettre fin à l'organisation d'actions terroristes transfrontalières.
His comments come days after US President Donald Trump spoke to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistan's Imran Khan, urging them to reduce tensions over Kashmir. Experts say that US President has no affinity for Pakistan but its strategic interests in mind. More than 14,000 of his men are in Afghanistan and they cannot return without Pakistan's support. Making his stand clear, Emmanuel Macron also indicated towards the prevalent human rights violations on Kashmiri people. The people under the illegal occupation of Pakistan have been reeling under misrule of Islamabad for more than 7 decades.
Territoire de part et d'autre de la ligne de contrôle. Et nous tenons beaucoup à cet esprit d'apaisement, de dialogue. Et nous tenons beaucoup à l'efficacité de cette politique de stabilité et de lutte contre le terrorisme. C'est pourquoi aussi, comme je l'ai dit au Premier ministre Modi, j'aurai dans les prochains jours un échange en ce sens avec le Premier ministre pakistanais pour lui rappeler aussi la volonté de la France de voir cette question traitée dans le cadre bilatéral, mais le souci de la France de préserver la stabilité dans la région et la lutte contre toutes les formes de terrorisme.
Earlier, Pakistan was rebuffed by the United Nations Security Council, where, in a closed-door informal meeting, it said that the issue must be resolved by two parties only. Russia, who has shared friendly ties with Pakistan, also made it clear that India has jurisdiction and prerogative over the region and no other party should intervene in it. The two countries in 1972 had agreed that any differences between them will be resolved peacefully and through bilateral means. The agreement clearly rules out the third-party mediation. The Lahore Declaration in 1999 said that both countries would intensify efforts to resolve all issues between them. It had clearly stated that no country would intervene in each other's internal matters. However, the cash-strapped nation, which has found itself cornered owing to its sustained support to terrorism, has been reaching out to different nations, asking them to condemn India on abrogation of its Article 370. No country in subcontinent, whether it is Nepal, the Himalayan nation, which has been repeatedly been approached by Beijing for more construction inside its territory, or Bhutan, has supported Pakistani stand. And now it must become clear to US as well, which has been misguided and misled by Islamabad, that offering mediation in an issue that must resolve bilaterally tantamount to global humiliation, as Pakistan is using it once again, which it is not aware of.
Moving on. Pakistan suffered another humiliation at global platform when representatives from the United States, UK, Canada and many others slammed it for carrying out human rights violations against the minorities in the country. These countries expressed concerns over the increasing, widespread and undue restrictions on religious freedom in Pakistan. There are numerous examples available in the domain where Pakistan, the country which finds itself in the list of hybrid regimes, is not only encouraged but has been complicit in crimes against the minorities.
Pakistan's humiliation at the global stage is no more an aberration but a recurring phenomenon. It has been embarrassed and exposed a countless number of times for its multi-pronged violence-related notoriety. Its latest insult came at the UN floor, where representatives from across the globe condemned it for being negligent and complicit in crimes against the minorities. Naveed Walter, a Pakistani by birth, exposed the ground situation and said that the country was prejudiced against the minorities, whether it was Christians, Hindus or Ahmadiyas. Everybody was being targeted with impunity. He also pointed out that in countries like China, national security was being used as a pretext to curb religious freedom of the minorities.
Today, the large groups of people are marginalized in their own societies. The biased behaviors develop in other areas also, like the minorities on basis of religious affiliation, as like in Pakistan, the Ahmadiyas having the situation. Like China, the growing number of countries uses national security as a pretext of restricting religious expression and the role of religion in public domain.
In a systematic operation of minorities, Pakistan has used both the routes of legislation and high-handedness. While it has incarcerated few on trumped-up charges, others have directly been persecuted by state agencies. The Islamic hardliners have been given a free run to unleash barbarity on minority, which has already declined to its minimal in last few decades. Countries like United States, UK and India have repeatedly raised concerns and lodged their protest with Islamabad, but all of it has fallen on deaf ears.
In Pakistan, religious minorities continue to suffer from persecution, either at the hands of non-state actors or through discriminatory laws and practices. We appreciate Poland inviting Naveed Walter to speak today about the challenges to religious freedom in Pakistan. He's been a courageous advocate for the persecuted, whether Christian, Ahmadi, Hindu, or others.
Reasonable voices from around the world have repeatedly condemned the situation in Pakistan. The mullahs, who hold a large sway in current scenario of Pakistan, deem Hindus, Sikhs and even other sects of Islam as infidels. These people have been suggesting ways and means to the government to suppress the minorities. Minorities that formed a significant part of the country's population when it came into existence have been reduced to a minuscule number owing to an organized drive by the state and the non-state actors.
Moving on. The United States has had thousands of soldiers stationed in Afghanistan since its forces toppled the Taliban regime in 2001. While they were engaged directly with the Taliban and other terrorists till 2014, some 14,000 troops are still deployed in the line of United Nations Resolute Support Mission to train, advise and assist the Afghan forces. However, the views on their presence in the country are divergent. While some believe that foreign forces are definitely required in the country, others say that it is their presence making the protracted war even worse. A report.
The Taliban are on a killing spree in Afghanistan. They have seemingly terrorized every corner of the country with their upped violent campaign in last few weeks. The attacks, which predominantly target the government installations that have severely damaged the government men and infrastructure, have also claimed scores of civilian lives. They are brutal and power-hungry, and a fragile security apparatus of the country has given them a free run in capturing more territories at an unprecedented pace. The Kabul establishment has failed at multiple fronts. Neither it has been able to contain the attacks, nor it has built a force that could resist them.
The security is the worst situation in last 18 years. No province is safe, no capital is safe. Everywhere Taliban and now Daesh can launch their operation.
Owing to this, voices of divergent hues and tenor have surfaced recently. While some say the presence of the foreign forces, especially the US troops, has helped in containing the violence at this level, others hold them responsible for the mayhem unleashed by the terrorists. Owner of a private media house terms it a colossal failure of the United States, who, according to him, had landed Afghan soil to eliminate terrorism, but has witnessed a first-hand proliferation of the terrorist organizations.
American didn't have the intention to really struggle against terrorism. When they came to Afghanistan, there was only Talib or Al-Qaeda. Now themselves are saying there are more than 20 groups of terrorists. Terrorists were operating in few districts, and now in all Afghanistan, terrorist groups have their bases.
According to a section of society, the country hasn't witnessed any tangible growth in last few years, and it holds US responsible for that. However, Kabul establishment has repeatedly denied these charges, saying country was treading a path of progress and democracy was thriving in the country. He has even started preparing for the presidential elections due this year. These people have also been accusing the United States of pursuing its own regional agendas in the garb of fight against terror.
Presence of US in Afghanistan result increase of terrorism, increase of war, increase of insecurity. They try to use terrorism as a tool for their regional agendas.
A report by UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan has come up with disturbing numbers about civilian casualties in the war. At least 1,500 civilians were killed and wounded in July, the worst number since May 2017, signaling the deteriorating security situation in the country. US-led NATO allies invaded Afghanistan in 2001 under the War on Terror and toppled the Taliban regime in the aftermath of the September 11 attacks. Despite the fact that the protracted war on terror inflicted heavy casualties on soldiers and civilians, it did not bear the desired outcome, which is a bitter pill for the US and NATO troops to swallow. Worst of all, the self-styled Islamic State of Iraq and Syria emerged in Afghanistan in 2016 with the presence of NATO forces, which further worsened the country's security.
Moving on to Bangladesh, where the second attempt to repatriate thousands of Rohingya refugees who have been living in precarious conditions in Cox's Bazar of Bangladesh has failed. The Rohingya refused to go back to Myanmar, citing absence of security. With this refusal has emerged a situation of deadlock in which both the governments of Myanmar and Bangladesh are trying hard but not getting any success. A report.
The Rohingya refugees do not want to return to their homes as they fear torture. They say they would rather die than sent back. In the second attempt, after the first failed last year, the authorities had marked 22nd August as the date to begin the smooth and voluntary repatriation, but nobody wants to go back. They even carried out consultations for more than 3,000 of the refugees to find out if people wanted to return, but almost all of them opposed the idea. Some of them even said that they would rather drink poison.
তো আর আমারটা দিবে আল্লাহ বলে আর সরকার হর বলে হর আর এড়ে লাই রে আর দগরা লাইও মারে লাইও তো আর করে করে বাজি কাফের দশ মাঝে আর নদী বাদেরি বাজে আর ইয়ান নগরী বাদেরি বাজি আর টাট্টির ভিতরে গলাইও রে আর বিষের বোতল আননি বিষের বোতল হাইও রে এড়ে মরে না বেতন না জনদাম বাজু মারা এড়ে এড়ে গেলে জনদাম তো না বাজু আর বিষ খাইও পরান নিবেলাই
Previous attempts at persuading Rohingya to return to Rakhine also failed due to opposition from refugees. An effort in November last year sowed fear and confusion in the camps and finally failed after protests. However, the coordinated decisions of both the governments had planned for a small-scale repatriation this year also failed. Rohingya say they cannot return unless there is enough security for their lives in Myanmar.
বেশি আর বাম্মা হইতে বাই বেনাইতে বেশি হাড়ি ফেলাই আর মুসলমান ভাই বেনাইদের মায়া ভাইদের বেশি যাইজুর মক্কল করছে তো তারপরে নির্দেশীর মাঝে আর মুসলমান ভাই বন্ধু সকলরে আইক্যা ফজিয়াল খানা মাঝে বেশি হষ্ট সকলদের আজ তার আরে এদিনও দে ইতার আজ শান্তি হদিন না হয় তো আর রোহিঙ্গা দিয়ে বলে হলে তার যা মানি লই বলে হলে যাইও ঘর নিজের ঘর বাড়ি দিয়ে বলে হলে যাইও না যাইও কি যাইও আর গেল না আর দেশের আর তো বেশি ফেটুর শান্তি হই বলে হলে যাইও অশান্তি হইলে হলে না যাইও মারা আরারের যা হলে অশান্তি মাঝে ওনারা আরারে এটা মারি ফেলা বাদে মরা এটা ফাটাই দো এর দূর মাঝে আরা তো অশান্তি বেশি হষ্টকল ভাই আরা এটা
These people have been supported by the United Nations, which has said that the conditions in Rakhine are not conducive for the return of refugees. says the region has been enveloped in a new war with government troops fighting Arakan army insurgents, members of an ethnic armed group that recruits mostly from the Buddhist Rakhine, who make up the majority in the area. A UN investigator said in July that human rights violations against civilians by security forces and insurgents may amount to fresh war crimes, citing reports of deaths during army interrogations. UNHCR said it had begun confidential interviews with those who express a wish to return, but it remains unclear exactly how many, if any, of the refugees have agreed to go. The future course of action is certainly going to become more complex as Bangladesh government too has expressed its inability at providing them shelter for an indefinite period.
Moving on, India's tribal cultures speak volumes about the diversity of the country. Warm hospitality and simple ways of living are some of the traits that mark the lifestyle of tribals in India. Preserving this rich tribal heritage and giving a fillip to tribal economy of the country's union territory Ladakh, Adi Mahotsav or National Tribal Festival was recently organized in Leh. Have a look.
Showing the rich tribal culture and traditions of Ladakh, 9-day-long Adi Mahotsav was held with huge pomp and show. Organized with the theme, a celebration of the spirit of tribal craft, culture and commerce, the event was a joint initiative by Union Ministry of Tribal Affairs and Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India, TriFed. Aimed at scaling up business opportunities for tribals, Adi Mahotsav was the first such event in Ladakh since central government announced its decision to make it a union territory.
इस महोत्सव के माध्यम से हम यहाँ के आर्टिजन्स को यहाँ के जो प्रोडक्ट है उसका इंटरनेशनल मार्केटिंग कैसे किया जाए और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को यहाँ रोज़गार उपलब्ध हो, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को यहाँ पे जुड़ने का कैसे मौका मिले, ये रीज़न उपेक्षित रहा है ऐसे लोगों का कहना है और इसी वजह से भारत सरकार ने विशेष ध्यान इस क्षेत्र के लिए दिया है.
Around 160 tribal artisans from more than 20 states across India participated in the Mahotsav and showcased their craft. While tribal textiles were from the state of Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan and West Bengal, tribal jewellery was from Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and the northeastern states.
मैं लद्दाख का जो लकड़ी का काम करता हूँ, जो यहाँ पे मैंने जो बना रहा हूँ वो लकड़ी ये टेबल जैसे टेबल बना रहा है. इसमें जो समय लगता है टाइम हाथ का कारीगर है, ये हाथ से बनाए. ये देख रहा है नीचे जो है ये हाथ से बनाए, ये मशीन से बनाए. ये जो रूटर मशीन से बनाए, ये वाला हाथ से बनाए चाहिए.
हाथ से बनाने में एक टेबल कितना टाइम लगता है?
इसमें ये वाला जो एक जोड़ी बनता है 15 डेज में.
In Ladakh, tribals make up 70% of the total population, and providing them with such an opportunity will not just give boost to their economic growth, but also bring prosperity to the region. Moreover, with the collaboration of TriFed and Amazon Marketplace, these tribals will have their products getting sold in 190 countries across the world.
Besides Adi Mahotsav, One Dhan Camp is also organized in Ladakh, in which village-level groups of tribal artisans are formed under the One Dhan scheme that seeks to improve tribal incomes through value addition of their products. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.